Most people think the biggest conflicts in the world are the ones they see on the news. Ukraine, the Middle East, military tensions, but the truth is, the biggest power struggle on Earth is happening much more quietly. And it's happening everywhere at once, in technology, in trade, in energy, and even in the devices you're using right now. Because behind the headlines, the world's biggest powers are competing for something much bigger: control of the future. For almost 30 years after the Cold War ended, the global system looked pretty simple. The United States was the dominant power, its economy was the largest, its military was unmatched, and its influence stretched across nearly every region on Earth. But over the last 20 years, something started to change. Another country began rising extremely fast: China. China's economic rise is one of the most dramatic transformations in modern history. In just a few decades, it went from a developing country to the world's second largest economy. Today, China manufactures a huge portion of the world's products. It is investing heavily in new technologies, and it is rapidly expanding its military capabilities. Which means for the first time in decades, the United States is facing a real global competitor. But here's where things get interesting. This power struggle isn't just about armies or weapons. Some of the most important battles are happening in technology: artificial intelligence, advanced computer chips, cyber warfare. But technology competition doesn't stop at computer chips. Artificial intelligence is quickly becoming one of the most important battlegrounds in global power. Countries are investing billions into AI systems that could transform entire industries. From military strategy to economic productivity, whoever leads in artificial intelligence could gain a massive advantage in the global system. That's why the United States, China, and several other major powers are racing to develop more advanced AI capabilities. This isn't just a tech race, it's a power race. Another area where this competition is becoming visible is military development. Global military spending has been increasing rapidly over the last decade. Countries are investing in new technologies like hypersonic missiles, advanced naval fleets, and next-generation aircraft. At the same time, military alliances are becoming stronger. NATO has expanded its presence in Europe. New defense partnerships are forming in the Pacific, and countries across Asia are increasing their military capabilities. All signs that governments are preparing for a more competitive global environment. But the global power struggle isn't just about military strength or technology. Economic influence also plays a huge role. Trade routes, supply chains, and financial systems all shape the balance of power. Countries that control critical industries or key infrastructure gain enormous influence over the global economy, which is why economic policy has become a major strategic tool. Sanctions, trade restrictions, export controls, all part of a larger geopolitical competition. And this competition is unlikely to slow down anytime soon. As new technologies emerge and global alliances evolve, the balance of power will continue shifting, which means the world could be entering a new era of geopolitical rivalry. Not necessarily a traditional war, but a long-term competition between major powers. One that will shape the global system for decades to come. These technologies will shape the next era of global power, and both sides know it. Take semiconductors, for example. They might look like tiny pieces of metal, but they power almost everything in the modern world. Smartphones, cars, data centers, military systems. Without advanced chips, modern economies simply don't function, which is why the global chip industry has become one of the most important strategic battlegrounds on the planet. And this raises an interesting question. Right now, who do you think is actually winning this competition? The United States? China? Or someone else entirely? Let me know what you think. But technology isn't the only arena where this competition is unfolding. Trade and infrastructure are another major front. China has been building massive infrastructure projects across dozens of countries through something called the Belt and Road Initiative. Ports, railways, highways, energy networks, all designed to increase China's global economic influence. At the same time, Western countries are strengthening alliances and building new partnerships to counter that expansion. So what you're seeing isn't just economic development, it's strategic competition. Energy is another key part of the puzzle. Control over oil, natural gas, and rare earth minerals can dramatically shift global power. These resources fuel industries, technology, and military capabilities, which means access to them can determine which countries gain influence and which ones fall behind. The global power struggle isn't just about two countries. Other major players are shaping the balance as well: Russia, India, the European Union. Each of these powers has its own interests, alliances, and strategies, and their decisions will influence how the global system evolves. The result is a world that is becoming more complex and more competitive. Instead of a single dominant superpower, the international system is shifting toward a balance between several major powers. And that balance is still changing. This global power struggle will likely define the coming decades. It will influence global trade, technology, military alliances, and even future conflicts. But unlike past rivalries, this competition isn't happening in just one place. It's happening everywhere, across economies, across technologies, across entire regions of the world. And while much of this struggle happens behind closed doors, its consequences will affect billions of people. Because the balance of power between nations shapes the entire global system. And right now, that balance is shifting faster than most people realize. So here's the real question. Do you think the world is heading toward a new Cold War? Or something even bigger? Let me know your thoughts in the comments.